What's up, good folks? I hope that you are doing so good and so well, and you doing the best that you can, and you are doing you in the most bona fide way that you know how. I want to send a word of encouragement to you, right? Because it's always a battle. The energies is weird in the atmosphere, the ethers, and in people, right? My message is of encouragement for you to be able to continue to walk strong and to continue to stand tall, standing erect, and to be able to sustain yourself, to be able to sustain yourself in this time, because we're living in some very weird times and very unprecedented sometimes. To continue to remain encouraged, right? To be encouraged, because when you feel good, you do good. And when you look good, you do good. And when everything is just good, then all is well, right? So, setting that as an intention and letting it be your intention, right? Because, everything that, just really keeping in mind that, you wanted to feel good and to stay in a high energy and to remain in joy and happiness. And if you can't maintain that, then to just be content, right? Because not only is it good for your health, it's good for your total health, right? When you think about some of the people in this world that go through stuff that they don't talk about, or people that try to make things look good, but they really are living in hell and they're living in misery, or that they are suffering. Now, in this life and human experience, we are all subject to that. So nobody is free from suffering, from birth till, the transition into the unseen. So, it's a part of life, but some people choose that and they choose to live in that, right? And they don't know how to love themselves. They don't know how to tap in with themselves. They don't have that real self-love or that self-respect or that self-admiration, that admiration of self, or even worshiping of self, right? To think of themselves highly. There's nothing wrong with having confidence or godfidence when you know that, opposing frequencies, or what religious people call the enemy or the devil, is always standing by, lurking, waiting to figure out how it can affect your life negatively. Remaining, positive and always being aware, kind of like in that energy where you laugh it off, right? You laugh it off because if it wasn't just an energy and it was somebody in a physical body, and a lot of times it is, right? It's people in their physical bodies, right? You could look them in their face and let them know, I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You hide, but you can't hide very well. And then you laugh about it, right? Because a lot of people are going through things and they're doing the right thing. And, some people, they're really doing the best that they can. And, there is this battle, right? It's a battle in the unseen. So always just, setting the intention to embody all of the things that the enemy hates. Walking in love, walking in truth, of course, integrity, continuing to walk in gratitude and appreciation, and walking in joy and happiness, right? And pure joy and happiness. The enemy don't like it when you're happy. But why is it that the enemy don't like it when you're happy? Because it's not of their nature. People don't like what they don't have, but what they want to acquire, and what they don't have. And something that they want so bad, but they feel as though they don't have, that they're lacking it. People tend to be jealous or envious, right? So if nothing else, being positive, but also just being, loving, and, just staying in a high frequency being happy and having joy, being grateful for the things that you have, for the people that's in your life. Because in a spiritual battle and in a battle in the unseen, there is a lot of manipulation. There is a lot of deception. Some people are dealing with blackmail. Some people are dealing with emotional, physical, spiritual abuse. You know, a lot of people are dealing with a lot of unspoken things. And there are people who are knowingly and unknowingly participating in wars that has nothing to do with them, or illusions of wars or battles or problems, because of the lack or because of the things that they don't have. You know, as sad as it is to say, because people say don't say certain things because you don't want to project it, but I speak about what I feel, my perspective, and what I feel to be true. We live in a very broken society, and humanity is imperfect, but the problem is that we have a society full of a lot of unhealed, broken adults who refuse to look at themselves and to do the work. No, I don't think that I don't think that the best of us are asking that people come and present themselves as perfect. I'm not trying to present myself as perfect, but I know that it took a lot for me to get here, and there's things that I have done and there's work that I have done is the reason why I can sit here in my confidence and to make videos like this and to share my energy. But to also express how important I feel it is to encourage other people, because the enemy don't like your peace. The enemy doesn't like your joy. The enemy doesn't like the happiness that you have, the peace that you have acquired, the things that you have done to get to the next level, to evolve. Because a lot of us are actually doing the work, right? And people think that we snapped our fingers and then tapped our little heels and, you know, clicked our little heels together a couple times, and then we woke up one day and then we had this confidence, or we had this peace. I mean, sometimes you can, you know, some people are born with certain gifts, and that's a fact. And then because life is so imperfect and there's different trials and tribulations, and there's suffering in the world. So sometimes people experience ups and downs, but there is a thick energy of misery and suffering, and the individuals who have created a prison for themselves, the individuals who are miserable within themselves, that have a heavy insecurity on them and within them, and have dark entities. The enemy wants some company. Oh, the enemy wants some company in that prison cell, in that hell. And it's just like, you know, in a spiritual journey, and in your spiritual walk and on your life path journey, and wherever you are, it's not to say that you are perfect. It's not to say that everything is going to come easy, but standing firm in that and staying focused, because now we in a season, because the energy is so weird and the planets may be lined up weird, and you know, it's all in the ethers and the atmosphere and things. It's a weird energy. It's in the ethers. It's in people. People have very weird energy. And then in this country where, you know, people, you freaking turn your head and you snap your fingers and somebody done lost their mind, right? They lost control of their emotions and thus have lost their mind, have totally went berserk and psychotic, and are taking it upon their own self to, you know, take it into their own hands to do some of the most unspeakable things, you know. And then in the energy, in the battle of energy, and in the warfare, the spiritual warfare, you know, as I said, as above, so below. So there is a war that's going on in the unseen. And if you tapped in and you know, especially if you're spiritual, then you know that first it starts in the unseen, and then it pretty much is it is manifested in the physical form. And then there is this thing with energy and with fear. The enemy wants you to be scared. The enemy wants to be fearful. Like people will say, you know, the enemy have their foot up on your neck. They try to have their foot up on your neck. Yeah, probably try. But I'm rejecting that all day. Like, don't come near me. Don't put your tentacles on me. Don't even breathe my way. Don't think about me, type deal. You know, with the hanging of the brother recently, there's different things that's going on. And then with the topic of the character who was unalive this week, you know, just different things that I am intentionally steering clear from, trying to keep my mind off of, because I know that there is a lot of distortions. There's a lot of intentional energetic and emotional manipulation going on. And not only is it on, you know, through the media, but it's also in your day-to-day life, and people that you may encounter on a day-to-day basis are mindless zombies, lost souls. And because they don't have your frequency, or you have something that they are lacking, they don't appreciate that. So while it may be tempting, especially if you're a warrior and you're a fighter for real, and you know who you are and you know you're great, oh, but the energy is so weird and it's so intentional. Being mindful and being aware of the tactics of the enemy, because he throwing the bait. Oh, he throwing it and he trying. But it's that time where we're saying, I see you. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, and I see where you're doing and through who you're doing. So then also it becomes a revelation, because you begin to understand how you're set apart. Oh, because there's a great separation, right? There's those who you know is tapped in and they're on one side, and then you know that there are those who are on the other side. And there are those who will purposely try to misunderstand you, like a woman like me who, you know, who expresses her love and concern for Black folks. But then, you know, there's some people that will try to misconstrue that message and make it seem like that you don't like anybody but Black folks, when your family is so colorful, and because you really have a love for everybody. But sometimes it's just not even those things. It's sometimes just the smallest things. People literally, one of the things that I want to encourage before I end this video is that sometimes it's not even you, darling. It's not even you for real sometimes. Sometimes it's not something that you did or something that is within you. Sometimes it can be something that is within you, right? Many people have told me that people was not going to like me simply because of the way that I look. And that's fine. Because no matter what they try, their opinion don't matter. And for two, I'm going to sleep good at night. And three, I'm protected by the Most High and my ancestors. So it really doesn't matter. People have to grow up, right? On their own time. Everybody got to grow up, right? I mean, because, you know, sometimes that's just, you know, too far-fetched. But sometimes it's really just recognizing that people lack certain things and they want certain things, and they have not been taught love. Nobody have spoke life and beauty and told them these great, amazing things about them. Sometimes the warfare and the battle with an enemy that you don't even know, or, you know, somebody that you may know who are lacking things, it's a great insecurity within them. So for whatever it is, on whatever, you know, whatever reason, whether you're dealing with warfare and it seems as though it's always going on, just making sure that, you know, you stand firm, you stand tall, keep God first, and, you know, always remembering that you are protected, that God is always your fence and your fortress, you know. But just staying in gratitude, staying grateful, staying in joy, staying in happiness, staying in peace, still treating your fellow man with respect and maturity, because it's really going downhill and people think that it's a game, while while there's just so much evil and control taking place and people can't even see it, right? They can't see the forest for the trees. They can't see it for looking at it so hard, but they have the audacity to try to play kid games and just so immature. And then people are mad at the wrong people. And then it just goes on and on and on. People don't know how to properly communicate and how to rectify situations, how to express their needs, how to reach out to the right people, how to go obtain resources for their needs and the things that they need or the things that they want. And then the inner battle, the battle within, the work that they need to do on their inner child, the work that people need to do because of the traumas that they've dealt with in their family, and the list goes on, right? So again, this word is just to encourage one, because everybody is going through something, and whether people make it look good or not, I mean, just really remembering that everybody is going through something. If you look at how people operate when they're walking and when they're going to and fro, I'm a people watcher. I've always been like that since I was a little girl. Always been a people watcher. And if you just watch people, you can just see how unsettled some people are, how unhappy some people are. And instead of, some people taking the right steps and the right measures to rectify that, to resolve the issues that they have within themselves, they would rather listen to a clown that is also miserable and project that. So I guess, when you're a youngster and they say take the high road to be the bigger person, that's another part of this message. That's what this message is about. Staying encouraged, not taking the bait, being the bigger person, standing in your bona fide nature, being your bona fide self, right? Having good intentions and just being a good person all around. No matter what, no matter what's happening on the outside or whatever, because what matters is what you're doing and how you feel. Be encouraged. Ashe.